A group of jolly cowboys discussing plans at tea. Says one, I'll tell you something, boys, if you will listen, please. I'm an old cowpuncher and here I'm dressed in rags. I used to be a tough one and take on great big jags. But I have a home, boys, a good one you all know. Although I have not seen it since long, long ago. But I'm going back to Dixie once more to see them all. Yes, I'm going back to see my mother when the work's all done this fall. When I left home, boys, my mother for me cried. She begged me not to leave her, for me she would have died. My mother's heart is breaking, breaking for me, that's all. And with God's help I'll see her when the work's all done this fall. That very night this cowboy went out to stand his guard. The night was dark and cloudy and storming very hard. The cattle all got frightened and rushed in wild stampede. The cowboy tried to head him while riding at full speed. While riding in the darkness, so loudly did he shout, trying his best to head him and turn the herd about. His saddle horse did stumble and upon him did fall. The boy won't see his mother when the work's all done this fall. Boy, send my mother my wages, the wages I have earned. For I'm afraid, boys, my last year I have turned. I'm going to a new range, I hear the master's call. And I'll not see my mother when the work's all done this fall. George, you may have my saddle, Bill, you may have my bed. Jack, you may have my pistol after I am dead. But think of me kindly as you look upon them all. For I'll not see my mother when the work's all done this fall. Poor Charlie was buried at sunrise, no tombstone at his head. Nothing but a little slab, and this is what it said. Charlie died at daybreak, he died from a fall. And he'll not see his mother when the work's all done this fall. When a girlie falls in love with her little turtle dove, she lingers all around him at the door. She kisses him for her mother, her sisters and her brother, till her daddy comes and kicks him out the door. Pulls his pistol from his pocket, draws a hammer for to cock it. He says to blow away that Guinea's brain. His ducky says he must not, 'tis loaded so he does not. Then they're kissing one another once again. How the old maids love it, the widows are above it. Everybody has their finger in the pie. Some are so very haughty, they think it's very naughty, but you can bet your life they'll do it on the sly. Now a girl is 17, she thinks it's very mean if she can't catch on something for a man. How she'll pucker up her mouth in a pretty little pout, and she'll fumble under his big black mustache. How she'll make a fella shiver, she'll make him jump a river, she'll stick to him like granulated glue. But don't you dare tell her you're some other girlish fella, she'll amputate your fella if you do. How the old maids love it, the widows are above it, everybody has their finger in the pie. Some are so very haughty, they think it's very naughty, but you can bet your life he'll do it on the sly. Now if you want to do it neatly, do it sweetly and completely. If you want to do it so as to be nice, make a dive as to kiss her, or smack or two, then miss her, and sock it on her, kiss her once or twice. How the old maids love it, the widows are above it, everybody has their finger in the pie. Some are so very haughty, they think it's very naughty, but you can bet your life they'll do it on the sly. Come all you young companions, and listen unto me. I'll tell you all a sad story of some bad company. I was born in Pennsylvania, among those beautiful hills, and the memory of my childhood is warm within me still. I did not like my fireside, I did not like my home. I had in view for rambling, so far away did roam. I had a kind old mother who often would plead with me, and the last words that she gave me were to pray to God in need. I had two loving sisters, as kind and beautiful could be, and down on the knees before me, they prayed and wept for me. I bid adieu to loved ones, to whom I bid farewell. I landed in Chicago, the very depths of hell. 'Twas there I took to drinking, I sinned both night and day, and yet within my bosom that feeble voice would say, oh, fare thee well, my loved one, may God protect my boy, and blessings ever with him throughout his manhood joy. I courted a fair young maiden, her name I will not tell, for I would ever disgrace her, as I am doomed for hell. 'Twas on one beautiful evening, the stars were shining bright, and with that fatal dagger I bid her spirit flight. Then justice overtook me, you all can plainly see, my soul is doomed forever throughout eternity. 'Tis now I'm on the scaffold, my moments are not long. You may forget the singer, but don't forget the song. I made up my mind in an early life to leave my girl who was too gay to dwell in Texas no longer for a while, but to travel west for many a mile. It was in the year of '83 when J.H. Vincent hired me. He says, young man, I want you to go and follow my herds into Mexico. Well, it was early in the year when I volunteered to drive those steers. I I can tell you, boys, 'twas a lonesome old go as the herd rode on toward Mexico. When I arrived in Mexico, I wanted to see my girl, but I could not go. So I wrote a letter to my dear, but not a word in 3 years did I hear. So I started back to my once loved home, inquired for the girl whom I adored. She says, young man, I've wed a richer life. Therefore, young fella, you must seek another wife. Oh, curse the gold and silver too. Oh, curse the girl who won't prove true. I'll go right back to the Rio Grande and get me a job with the cowboy band. Oh, buddy, oh, please don't go. And don't forever be on Rome. If you know girls more true than I, oh, please don't go where those bullets fly. Yes, I know girls more true than you, and I know girls who won't prove true. I'll go right back where those bullets fly and stay on the cow trail till I die. From this valley they say you are going. I shall miss your sweet face and bright smile. But alas, you are seeking the sunshine, for to brighten your pathway a while. Then come sit here a while ere you leave us. Do not hasten to bid us adieu, but remember the bright little valley and the cowboy who loves you so true. I've been thinking a long time, my darling, of those sweet words you never would say. But alas, all my fond hopes have vanished, for they say you are going away. Then come sit here a while ere you leave us. Do not hasten to bid us adieu, but remember the bright little valley and the cowboy who loves you so true. Do you think of the valley you're leaving? Oh, how lonely and dreary it will be. Do you think of the kind heart you're breaking and the pain you are causing to me? Then come sit here a while ere you leave us. Do not hasten to bid us adieu, but remember the bright little valley and the cowboy who loves you so true. Last night I was out at the lake, just on a bit of a spree. My wife I'm a-coming did wait. When asleep I thought she would be, but I found her in passion and tears. Says she it's a sin and a shame. She's scratched both my eyes and my ears, and I thought I had better explain. Oh, the club had a meeting last night, love, of business we had a great sight, love. Don't think for a moment I'm tight, love. I've only been down to the club. My boots I left down in the hall, and slowly I crept up the stairs. I kept very close to the wall, so to reach my room unaware. But before I got up to my door, somehow I got lost in the dark. I tripped and I fell on the floor. This was all I could remark. Oh, the club had a meeting last night, love, of business we had a great sight, love. Don't think for the moment I'm tight, love. I've only been down to the club. She wept and she sobbed and she cried. Said she, I'm going back to my moor. While I on the mantelpiece lean, trying to enjoy my cigar. Says, let me alone for a while, and I'll buy you a pretty new dress. Then I saw her beginning to smile, and I gave her a sweet little kiss. Oh, the club had a meeting last night, love, of business we had a great sight, love. Don't think for a moment I'm tight, love. I've only been down to the club. When a bunch of foaming Mustangs are charging around the corral, and you know just how to ride one, there's no use for me to tell. When you get your police on him, and his eyes are shining white, don't step into your saddle till you know that she's good and tight. When some outlaw of a maverick turns herds up into the hills, and you're down to just plain running without any fancy frills. When he turns him up on the rough rocks, don't let your gills turn white. Just dig in all the harder if your saddle is good and tight. When you've got to take the wallop out of some longhorn local still, you'd better take a looking to the hanging of your gear. For if your bovine goes lengthwise and your loop goes sailing right, then you get your dally weathers if your saddle is good and tight. But when you take down your lasso for to catch yourself a bride, I'll tell you, COWBOYS, you're going to have a ride. You'll find the rain so confusing, with no water holes in sight. If you are not very careful to keep your saddle on good and tight, for of all the crazy critters you ever tried to halter, a woman, she is the worst one when she's prancing round the altar. But when you get the right one and you show that you are right, just dally hard and hold on if your saddle is good and tight. Up on worthy son who dares to disregard a father's care, or heed unto a mother's prayer, with gambling on the Sabbath day. From their advice he turned away. Cards and dice he then soon learned to play, and now in prison has to lie, till on the gallows he must die. His father 60 years of age, the best of counsel did engage, to see if something might be done to save his disobedient son. But nothing could the counsel do. The testimony was so true. The bloody weapon he had drawn and pierced his comrade's body through. The sheriff touched the slender cord. His soul went up to meet its Lord. The doctor says the wretch is dead. His spirit from his body fled. His weeping mother cried aloud, "Oh God, to save his gazing cried, that none may ever have to pay for gambling on the Sabbath day." Oh, bury me not on a lone prairie. These words came low and mournfully from the pallid lips of a youth who lay on his dying bed at the close of day. He wailed in pain till o'er his brow death's shadows fast were gathering now. He thought of his home and his loved ones nigh, as the cowboys gather to see him die. Oh, bury me not on a lone prairie, where the wild coyotes will howl o'er me in a narrow grave just 6 by 3. Oh, bury me not on a lone prairie. It matters not, I've often told, where the body lies when the heart grows cold. Yet grant, oh grant, this wish to me, oh bury me not on a lone prairie, oh bury me not. And his voice failed there, but we took no heed to his dying prayer. In a narrow grave, just 6 by 3, we buried him there on a lone prairie. And the cowboys now, as they roam the plains, for they marked the spot where his bones were laid, fling a handful of roses on his grave, with a prayer to God, who his soul will save. Last night as I lay on the prairie and looked at the stars in the sky, I wondered if ever a cowboy would drift to that sweet by and by. I know there is many a stray cowboy who'll be lost at that great final sale, when he might have gone into green pastures had he known of the dim narrow trail. Roll on, roll on, roll on, little doggies, roll on, roll on, roll on, roll on, roll on, little doggies, roll on. I wonder if ever a cowboy stood ready for that judgment day, and could say to the boss of the riders, I'm ready, come drive me away. For they, like the cows that are local, stampede at the sight of a hen, and be dragged with the rope to the roundup, or get marked by some crooked man's friend. We are told of another big owner who's narrow but stock, so they say, who always makes room for a sinner who drifts from that straight narrow way. You can bet he will never forget you, that he knows every action and look. For safety you'd better get branded, have your name in that great tally book. He leaves unplowed his furrow, he leaves his books unread, for a life of tinted freedom, by lure of danger led. He's first in the hour of peril, he's the gayest at the dance, like the guardsman of old England, or both they brother of France, the gay and hardy ranger, his blankets on the ground, lies by the blazing campfire, while songs and tales go round. And if one voice is silent, one fails to hear the jest, they know his thoughts are absent with her who loves him best. He may not win the laurels, nor trumpet tongues of fame, but guilty smiles upon him, and ranchmen bless his name. Then here's to the Texas Rangers, past, present, and to come, our safety from the savage, the guardian of our home. I was born in Boston City, a city you all know well, brought up by honest parents, the truth to you I'll tell, brought up by honest parents, and raised most tenderly, till I became a roving man at the age of 23. My character then was taken, and I was sent to jail. My friends, they found it was in vain to get me out on bail. The jury found me guilty, the clerk he wrote it down. The judge then passed me sentence one cold December day. And every station that we pass, I'd hear the people say, there goes our noted burglar, in strong chains he'll be bound, for doing some crime or other. He'll sink to Charleston town. Now you who have your liberty, pray keep it if you can, and don't go round the streets at night to break the laws of man. For if you do, you'll surely pay and find yourself like me, serving out my 21 years in the penitentiary. I've been thinking today, as my thoughts began to stray, of your memory worth more to me than gold. As you ride across the plains, mid the sunshine and the rain, you'll be rounded up in glory by and by. You'll be rounded up in glory by and by. You'll be rounded up in glory by and by. When the milling time is o'er, and you will stampede no more, when he rounds you up within the master's fold. As you ride across the plains with the cowboys that have fame, and the storms and the lightning flashing by, we shall meet to part no more there upon that golden shore, when he rounds you up in glory by and by. You'll be rounded up in glory by and by. You'll be rounded up in glory by and by. When the milling time is o'er, and you will stampede no more, when he rounds you up within the master's fold. May we lift our voices high to that sweet by and by, and be known by the brandings of the Lord. For his property we are, and he'll know us from afar, when he rounds us up in glory by and by. You'll be rounded up in glory by and by. You'll be rounded up in glory by and by. When the milling time is o'er, and you will stampede no more, when he rounds you up within the master's fold. I think of that last great roundup in the eve of eternity's dawn. I think of the past of the cowboys who have been with us here and have gone. I think of the big-hearted fellows who would share with you blankets and bread, with a piece of stray beef all well roasted, and charge for it never a red. I often look upward and wonder if the green fields will seem half so fair, and if any the wrong trail have taken and fail to be in over there. The way to green pastures, though narrow, leads straight to the home in the skies, and Jesus will give you the passport to the land of the sweet by and by. No mavericks or slick shall be tallied in that great book he has in his home, for he knows all the brands and the earmarks that down through the ages have come. Then on with the strays and the sleepers, the tailings must turn from the gate. No road brand to gain them admission, then comes that sad cry too late. Yet I trust in that last great roundup, when the riders shall cut the big herd, that the cowboys will be represented in the earmarks and brands of the Lord, to be shipped to that bright mystic region, over there in green pastures to lie, to be led by the crystal still waters, in the land of the sweet by and by. O Lord, please lend to me thine ear, the prayer of a cattleman to hear. No doubt the prayers may seem so strange, but I want you to bless our cattle range. Oh, bless the roundups year by year, and don't forget the growing steer. Oh, water the lands with brooks and rills, for my cattle that roam on 1,000 hills. The prairie fires, won't you please stop? Let thunders roll and the waters drop. It frightens me to see the smoke. Unless it's stopped, I'll go dead broke. As you, O Lord, my hurt behold, it represents a sack of gold. I think at least 5 cents a pound will be the price the whole year round. Just one thing more and then I'm through. Instead of one calf, give my cows two. I may pray different from other men, but I've had my say, so now amen. Amen. All day long on the prairies I ride, not even a dog to trot by my side. My fires I kindle with chips gathered round, my coffee I boil without being ground. I wash in a pool and I dry on a sack. I carry my wardrobe all on my back. For want of an oven, cook bread in a pot and sleep on the ground. For want of a cot. My ceiling's the sky, my floor is the grass, my music's a lowing of the herds as they pass. My books are the streams, my sermons the stones, my parson's a wolf on his pulpit of bones. And if my cooking is not so complete, you can't blame me for wanting to eat. But show me a man who sleeps more profound than the big bunch of boys who sleeps on the ground. My books teach me consistence to prize, my sermons small things I should not despise. My parson remarks from his pulpit of bones that fortune favors those who look out for their own. Between me and love lies a gulf very wide. Some lucky fellow may call her his bride. My friend gently hint I am coming to grieve, but men must make money and women have ease. And now, my friend, you ask me what makes me sad and still, and why my brow is darkened like the clouds up on the hill. Run in your pony closer and I'll tell you all a tale of Utah Cal, my partner, and his last ride on the trail. We rode the range together, and we rode it side by side. I loved him like a brother, and I wept when Utah died. We were rounding up one morning, and our work was almost done, when on one side they started on a mad and fearful run. The boss man's little daughter was holding on that side. She waved a bright red blanket. They charged with maddened fear. Little Burrow, seeing the danger, knew she would have to ride. Leaning in the saddle, she flung the blanket in the air. And leaning, she lost her balance, fell in front of that wild tide. Utah then wildly shouted, "Lay still, Pharaoh," he cried. His only hope was to raise her and to catch her at full speed, as oft times he'd been known to catch a trail rope off his teeth. But the cinches of his saddle had not been felt before, and the back cinch snapped asunder, and he fell beside Pharaoh. He picked up the red blanket, and he waved it o'er his head. Then he started across the prairie. "Lay still, Pharaoh," he said. Well, he got the stampede turned, and he saved Pharaoh, his friend. Then he turned to face the cattle and meet his fatal end. And when we broke the circle where Utah's body lay, with many a bruise and wounded, his life ebbed away. 'Twas just before the last fierce charge, two soldiers drew their reins, with the parting word and the touch of the hand, for they never might meet again. They gazed each other into the face with an awful and ghostly gloom. The tall, dark man was the first to speak, saying, "Charlie, my time has come. We'll ride together into the fight, but you ride out alone. Oh, promise me a little more trouble to take when I am dead and gone. I have a picture upon my heart, I'll wear it into the fight. It's mild blue eyes and curly hair, it's like the morning light. Oh, write to her, Charlie, and tell her I'm gone, send back her fair, fond face. Oh, write and tell her how I died, and where's my resting place." There were tears in the blue eyes of the boy, his voice was low with pain. "I'll do, my comrade, what you ask if I ride out again. But if you ride out and I am left, will you do as much for me? For I have a mother to hear the news right to her tenderly. Just in the order came to charge an instant, hand touch hand, and into the thickest of the fight rode that devoted band. They rode together to the crest of the hills where enemies poured shot and shell, poured clouds of dust on the falling men and jeered them as they fell. Among the dead and dying lay the boy with the curly hair, and the tall dark man who rode by his side lay dying by him there. Gentlemen of the jury, the judge's speech began. The scene was a crowded courtroom, and the judge was a stern old man. The prisoner before you is a social enemy, a lady of the evening. You know the penalty. Don't let her beauty sway you. Don't mind her ready tears. Don't let her youth mislead you. She's wise beyond her years. Her eyes reflect the red lights. Her cheeks are thick with pain. But I knew her mother, gentlemen, and her mother was a saint. She is not like her mother, and yet she might have been, if it hadn't been for petting parties, cigarettes and drinking gin. We took the nightlife off the streets and brought it in our home. Our girls beat time with lipsticks to the shrieks of saxophone. We opened up the underworld to those we loved so well. We made her what she is today. Shall we send her to a cell? When you go in the jury room, remember there and then that for every fallen woman there's 100 fallen men. Before you render a verdict on whatever she has done, remember there's a man to blame. That man may be your son. I plead with you for mercy. The testimony stands. That girl is my own daughter. The case rests in your hands. Fare you well, green fields, soft meadows, adieu. Rocks and mountains, I depart from you. Nevermore shall my eyes by your beauties be blessed. Nevermore shall you soothe my sad bosom to rest. Fare you well, little fishes that glide through the sea. Your life's all sunshine, all light and all glee. Nevermore shall I watch your skill in the way. I'll depart from all friends this side of the grave. What would I give such freedom to share, to roam at my ease and breathe the fresh air? I'd roam through the city, through village and dale, but never would return to my cold prison cell. What's life without liberty? I oft times have said of a poor troubled mind that's always in dread. No sun, moon, and stars can on me now shine. No change in my danger from daylight till dawn. Fare you well, kind friends, I'm willing to own. Such a wild outcast never was known. I'm the downfall of my family, my children, my wife. God pity and pardon the poor prisoner for life. At midnight when the cattle are sleeping, on my saddle I pillow my head, and up to the heavens lie peeping from out of my cool grassy bed. Often and often I've wondered at night when lying alone, if every bright star up yonder is a big people were like our own. Are the worlds with their ranges and ranches, do the ring with rough riders refrain? Do the cowboys scrap with Comanches and other red men of the plains? Are the hills covered over with cattle in those mystic worlds far away? Do the ranch houses ring with the prattle of sweet little children at play? At night in the bright stars up yonder, do the cowboys lie down to their rest? Do they gaze at this old world and wonder if rough riders dash o'er its breast? Do they listen to the wolves in the canyons? Do they watch the night owl in its flight, with the horse as their only companion, while guarding the herd through the night? Sometimes when a bright star is twinkling like a diamond set in the sky, I find myself lying and thinking it may be God's heaven is nigh. I wonder if there I shall meet her, my mother whom God took away. If in the starry heavens I'll greet her at the roundup that's on that last day. In the east the daylight is breaking, and into my saddle I spring. The cattle from sleep are waking, the heaven thoughts from me take wing. The eyes of my bronco are flashing, impatient he pulls at his rein, and off round the herd I go dashing, a reckless cowboy of the plains. An ancient longhorn bovine lay dying by the river. There was lack of vegetation, and the cold winds made him shiver. A cowboy sat beside him with sadness in his face, to see the final passing, the last of a noble race. Tell the Durhams and the Herefords, when they come grazing round, and see me lying stiff and stark upon the frozen ground, I don't want them to bellow when they see I am dead, for I was born in Texas, near the river that is called Red. I remember back in the 70s, for many summers past, there was grass and water plenty, but it was too good to last. I little dreamed what would happen some 20 summers hence, when the nester came with his family, his dogs and his barbed wire fence. His voice sank to a murmur, his breath was short and quick. The cowboy tried to skin him when he saw that he could not kick. He rubbed his knife on his big boot until he made it shine, but he never skinned old Longhorn, 'cause he could not cut his rind. And the cowboy rose up sadly and mounted his little cayuse, saying the time has come when Longhorns and the cowboys are no use. And while gazing sadly backward upon the dead bovine, his bronco stepped in a dog hole and fell and broke his spine. Some time ago, 2 weeks or more, if I remember well, I found myself in town and thought I'd knock around a spell, when all at once I heard a bell, not knowing it was Sunday, for on the plains we scarcely know a Sunday from a Monday. I started by the chapel door, but something urged me in and told me not to spend God's day in revelry and sin. I don't go much on sentiment, but tears came into my eyes. It seemed just like my mother's voice was speaking from the skies. I thought how often when she had gone with little sis and me to church when I was but a lad way back in Tennessee. It never once occurred to me about not being dressed in Sunday rig, but carelessly I went in with the rest. You should have seen the smiles and shrugs as I went walking in, as though they thought my leggings worse than any kind of sin. Although the honest parson in his vestry garb array was dressed the same as I was in the trappings of his trade. Is it very strange that cowboys are a rough and reckless crew, when their garb forbids their doing right as Christian people do? They frequent scenes of revelry where death is bought and sold, where at least they get a welcome hand, though it's prompted by their goal. My friend, did it ever occur to you, when winter days are gone and the mortal grass is springing up to meet the judgment sun, and we attend the big roundup where, according to the word, the angel cowboy of the Lord will cut the human herd. I am a Mormon cowboy, and Utah is my home. Tucson, Arizona is the first place I did roam. From there into El Capitan, a place you all know well. To describe that brushy country, no mortal tongue can tell. While at the old post office, a maid came riding down upon a bronco pony, and was soon up on the ground. She gave to each and every one an invitation grand, inviting us to a grand ball at the old El Capitan. We all went to the dance that night at the schoolhouse by the road. Many folks came from Dripping Springs, and many came from Globe. The music they brought with them I never shall forget. 'Twas a colored man with his guitar, I can hear him singing yet. There were lots of married women there, and single girls too. I soon became acquainted with all except a few. The cowboys in their high-heel boots were leading the grand march, while the city dudes soon followed in collars stiff with starch. After dancing 2 or 3 sets, I stepped outside to cool. Every bush that I passed by was loaded with white mule. Then after serving supper, it was 1:15, I heard a fight had started. Each cowboy pulled his gun. Up stepped a little cowpuncher, his eyes were flashing fire. He said he was the ramrod of the ranch called Bar F Bar. I started for my pony, the guns were flashing fast. I could hear the cowboys shouting, we broke it up at last. So I bid farewell to my new-made friends and the place called El Capitan. The fairest face I ever saw was in that wild and happy band. I jumped into my saddle and started back toward home. Made up my mind right then and there that I never more would roam.